Hey everybody, Ray from TechKnow 2020. In this tutorial, we're going to show how to encrypt an entire thumb drive. The last one I showed was how to encrypt a drive image on a thumb drive. But say, for example, I don't want to worry about that every time. I just want the whole entire thumb drive. I want all 32 gigabytes to be encrypted. If I look on my drive right now, I've got some stuff on here. I'm going to delete the information. But when I format it, basically it will delete it as well. But we're going to go to the disk utility in macOS, Mojave here. I'm going to click on my Patriot drive and I'm going to say I want to erase this thing. But now it says basically I can have some options of using the new Apple file system, the macOS extended journaled, but we have the encrypted option, case sensitive encrypted or journaled encrypted. So I'm going to encrypt this entire 32 gigabyte thumb drive. And I'm going to make my password just test on this one. That's not the password I use for everything else. I wouldn't recommend it. But you can also leave yourself a password hint. Hinted at testing this function. You can type in yourself a little thing to help remember what that is. But again, that's a little bit risky because then people can better guess what that is if they don't know. So go ahead and hit choose, and we're going to format this 32. And I'm just going to call it encrypted, just so that we know that it's encrypted. And I'm going to erase this drive, basically. It unmounts the drive, and it goes through the process of basically encrypting the drive. And we'll let this go on for a minute and get back to you in just a second. All right, you can see that it finished. It took about 30 seconds for it to do that. Basically initialized a 29 gigabyte case sensitive file, and it mounted it back. So basically I have my encrypted. It used a little bit of space. Oh, that's the wrong drive. Here's my drive down here down below. It used almost no space. It used 150 megabytes basically for all the encryption in the file system. But now as I access this drive, if I got 32 gigabyte Patriot encrypted, if I save files to it, say I'm going to drag these 3 files to it again, these files are automatically encrypted when they're saved to the drive. And when I eject the drive or unmount the drive, basically it goes away. But when I remount it, it says, hey, what's the password? So we'll show that. So we'll eject our Patriot drive. We're going to stick it back in. And it says, hey, what's the password to this sucker so I can open it? So I'm going to type in my test password. You can tell it to remember it in your keychain if you don't want to type it in every time this computer. But if you have it encrypted, my guess is you probably don't want it to remember it so that somebody can't just stick it in your computer and get access to it without the password. Click on lock, which then allows it to be mounted. If we double click on the drive, it then shows the information basically it's on the drive. I can double click on the file. I can see the contents of the file. Double click on my screenshot. I can see screenshots show up in the preview window and so forth. So that is how you encrypt an entire thumb drive. Now I will warn you that I had an old thumb drive, a USB 1 thumb drive that was an 8 gigabyte Kingston drive. And when I stuck it in my Mac to encrypt it, it did not work. So basically it didn't even show up as an option to encrypt it, and I thought something was broken. I put in a newer USB 3 thumb drive that's made in the last 5 years instead of the one that was made probably 15 or 20 years ago, and the encrypted option came up. So not all thumb drives are created equal with respect to what the operating system is able to talk to and encrypt. So would suggest a newer thumb drive if you want to encrypt the whole thumb drive for your use. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, email me. Again, Ray from TechKnow 2020, and have a great day.